Now, I questioned him being Diamond before, I remember when I was casting Team Elite, and they said, don't worry, he's really good. So we'll have to see if he's able to actually pull off this game. And it seems like Chronic Facture is made up of entirely Protoss players. I'm not sure if that's what their roster diversification plan was. They're like, don't worry guys, we'll just be Protoss, and we'll all just play Protoss versus Protoss all day and be ridiculously good at it. But it seems like that part of it at least has been working out well for them. And oh, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted that. There we go. In the bottom right hand corner, here playing for Team Elite, it's their Zerg player Focus. In the top left hand corner, playing for Team Chronic Facture, it is Louder. As the blue Protoss here on Whirlwind, it is cross spawns, so it's going to be definitely favoring the Zerg player, at least initially. Generally, the Zerg player wants cross spawns unless they're an extremely aggressive player. Some type of roach timing with Hydras, that could kind of work to their disadvantage. They may have wanted closer by ground in those situations, but almost always, as a Zerg, you're going to want to be further away from your opponent, so it is cross spawn, and that is beneficial. Louder looks like he's going to be going for either a Gateway expand or a Forge Fast expand. We'll have to see what he chooses to drop first. Of course, with the Forge expand, you can Cannon Rush the expansion, which is always great. Kind of delay that a little bit. And he's moving out. No, it looks like he's going to drop it. Okay, so he's going to drop a Forge. So it is a Forge Fast expand. This is going to enable him to prevent the expansion going up if he's lucky. But it looks like he's going to be scouting not the correct guess. So he's probably not going to be able to stop the expansion from going up. And it looks like Focus... Okay, he drops the spawning pool. He could have actually gotten away with dropping the expansion and not getting pylon blocked at least, but he's going to go the safer way here on Whirlwind, and he's going to go for the spawning pool. Now, an interesting build that some Zerg players do go on this map is they go for Zergling speed. Like, they pick up gas right now and don't drop their expansion, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and expand. Let's see. Yep, there he goes. Maybe? Thinking about it. He's decided he's going to do it. Alright, so expansion goes down. And Louder looks like he's going to go ahead and expand here in a second as well. Yep, he drops his expansion. So Protoss is getting the build order win thus far. He saw that expansion is just partway started, so he's going to know that a spawning pool is definitely first. No gas was picked up behind this though, so the spawning pool is purely defensive. He doesn't want to do any type of aggression with it unless he would have already picked up the gas so he could do run-bys into the main there of the Protoss player. But in this situation, that's not what he chose to do, so he's going to be playing a passive game. He's probably going to try and pick up his third base here in a second once he gets across the map and is actually able to scout. Louder was scouting to see if a third had gone up, but there isn't one up right now. Ling's out on the field. Look like they're going to try and prevent this pro from blocking the expansion, but the expansion does go up, and Louder does see it, so he's going to scoot on home knowing that it's 2 base versus 3 base. Both of his gases going up behind this. So it's about to be the point where the Protoss is going to finish his wall and then his tech's going to be revealed. So we're going to have to see what he decides to go. Is he going to drop a bunch of gateways and go for some type of timing off of 2 base? Is he going to go some type of Colossus timing, something like that? Because there's pretty much, I would say, not any chance he's going to be going for an Immortal Century timing. It's a rather old style off 2 bases. But it still works on some maps, but this is generally not one of them. Whirlwind is just too large for that. There's too much open space for flanking and stuff like that, so. Focus at least seeing that there's no ridiculous expansion going up. So he's probably... Louder's probably going to go for airplay here on this map, but we'll have to see. His Cybernetics core just now finishing. He has enough gas for whatever he wants. And a Stargate does go up. Really, really common for Protoss to go for the airplay here on Whirlwind. All the pros do it all the time. So. Both gases going up there at the expansion. Focus just kind of droning up still. isn't worried about any real aggression. Probe getting in here and scouting, seeing the gas is just going up, and he also notices that there's no lair, which is pretty important because if it was some type of roach or, you know, hydra push that could be aggressive at this time. It's not one of those, and he notices that. The roach weren't just going up at the natural here for focus. And the most important thing about not seeing the lair is really more of a, okay, well, he's not Nidus worming me, which is something that you can do. You can even fake going for 3 bases, which your 3rd base is pretty much just for larva and Nidus worm, because there's just so much open space here in the back of Protoss players' bases on Whirlwind. Now, he did see the Stargate with that Overlord, so he is going to start dropping spores in all the mineral lines. So this one Phoenix that's out on the map, who wasn't going to be able to do anything anyway, at least will take some paint damage while he's scouting, waiting for his brethren to be produced. Whew, that Phoenix was Overlord hunting, and they did not find him. This Overlord over here, though, I'm not exactly sure how he's still alive. He's like in the very tiny dead airspace. So let's see. Louder is picking up his expansion. Zerg player's definitely playing in a deficit right now. He's barely up in workers. He's up 9. Not that massive of a lead in ZVP. Phoenixes are out on the field. They're going to be hunting down Overlords and picking them off. Right now, supply blocked. I really have no idea how this Overlord hasn't been spotted yet. There are quite a few gateways out on the field right now. It's up to 5. And it's weird. There's 0 production in the main base of the Protoss player. I don't think I've ever seen that. Literally 0 buildings besides 1 pylon. That is just so odd to me. Hallucinated Phoenix going across the map. It's kind of interesting. Zealot moving around, trying to see if it can find any random expansions out on the map. / spot Overlords that are patrolling. And this Overlord, okay, yeah, he is going to get picked off. I was going to say, I was pretty sure the Zealot saw him. Hallucinated Phoenix dies before he can get into the main and get any new scouting information here for a Protoss player. He doesn't know that there's a Roach Warren, he doesn't know that anything else, like the Hydra Den, all that stuff. He has no idea. Groove Spine's going down, which does increase the range of the Hydralisk, so that's, at this point, a little bit more of a defensive play, because Hydra's moving across the map, unless you're sure you're going to win a fight, is very, very ambitious. Mostly because it's such a big map. Not quite able to pick off one of those Overlords. They're huddling next to this Spore Crawler for dear life. These Hydras look like they're not that convinced that they should let the drone by, but eventually give in. And now we have the 3rd up and running here for Louder. His macro's caught up significantly. It's now 62 to 62. He's entirely caught up on workers, though 2 drones are just about to finish. And it looks like maybe coinciding with this +1 and, you know, movement speed for the Hydras, that the Zerg player might want to start getting aggressive, try and put some pressure on that 3rd base. It's going to be pretty difficult for him to take it out just because of the production facilities here out of Louder. And he's starting, alright, there's the tech. I was wondering if it was going to be Colossus or what, and there's 5 more gateways up in the expansion. But it looks like it's going to be Blink Stalkers and a Templar Archive, so it is going to be Storms that are going to be able to be ripping through these Hydras here pretty soon. Hydras don't stop and get shots off, and those Phoenixes all get away. He decides that Creep Tumor was the bigger threat, so he killed it. Queen getting lifted up here at the 3rd, actually. That's going to go down pretty quick. Queen does get taken out, and that's kind of annoying because the macro hatch was being built over here, so it's not going to have that extra Queen for injecting, though he is a little bit energy fat on that other Queen, so he's going to be able to inject a little bit there. The Zealot I like the Zealot that's out on the map, just trying to check to see if anything's going down randomly. Blink is almost done, +2 is almost done. So the Protoss player in a very good position here. I think he's going to have... He only has 3 sentries right now, but he should be able to hold off any attack that's coming out. Storm is just starting though, so the Zerg player definitely has a window here. There's not any AoE out on the field, so... Now the Protoss player, there it goes. Lots of force fields going down. And now the other part of his army is going to come up from the back, but force field's a little bit late. Lots of stuff getting taken out here. Those full energy sentries actually getting taken out really easily. And now all the sentries are actually dead with all of their energy. There's a lot of stalkers up on the high ground on both sides, but there isn't actually any sentries at all left. Now these blink stalkers are going to be able to surround and take out a lot of this army. He just needs to commit to the fight at this point, because he's not going to be able to run away with these hydras versus these blink stalkers. Aggressive blink moving forward. That's when you want to pull the lings in, and that's what he does. But it looks like these hydras are going to get picked off and cleaned up here. There's no point running away. You're not going to get away. You might as well just commit to the fight. And very handily cleaned up there by Louder. And now the Protoss player is up. Oh, okay. It was up 20 supply, but a bunch of units just finishing up there. A bunch of roaches and infestors are going to be popping out on the map here. Roach Infestor definitely does very well versus blink stalkers. Not quite as well as Hydra. But all those hydras that he lost is a pretty massive investment. It looks like he's not going to be able to hold on to his fourth base right here. And Pathogen Glands was not finished or even started to research, actually. So these infestors don't have enough energy to actually fungal these stalkers off of the bat. So that's a little bit of a blunder. And the Protoss player is just going to be content to take his fourth base, inching towards where the Zerg wanted to take his fourth. So he wants to be really aggressive moving forward in this game. Zealot charge is starting up here. These Templars do have Storm finished. +3 attack is being finished, and Storm, a few of these Templars actually have enough energy for it, so it's going to be pretty difficult to hold, I think, this next attack coming up. Storm not very good versus roaches, but feedback, of course, very good versus the infestors. So we'll have to see. We're coming down to a little bit of a micro battle here coming up in this next engagement. There's a lot of zealots, which if they're clumped up like this, they could get fungaled and just kind of entirely nullified in the fight with very good fungals here out of our Zerg player. But it's going to be pretty dangerous. It's going to be a pretty good engagement coming up. And I like Louder's defenses at his bases. One pylon powering that much stuff is a little bit... But other than that, I really like how he puts the cannons behind it, so Ling run-bys aren't going to be able to deal that much damage because the gateways are going to be protecting those cannons so well. Two of them not even going to be able to get any surface area put on them at all. Alright, so this is looking pretty Wings of Liberty right now. Except for there should be a lot more Colossus. Storm's going down on the army. Fungo's blanketing the entire Protoss army, starting to chain those together. That is a lot of roaches, though. But these infestors moving up, a few of them dying with full energy. But the roaches look like they're just too much, and they're going to be able to push through this Protoss army. 14 more roaches coming out on the field right now. This Oracle, with its limited amount of energy, is trying to chase this away. And there are a lot of cannons up here at this expansion. Does he know that they're all powered by one pylon, though? Looks like he's going to back down the ramp. Lots of lings being produced on the back end of this. Looks like he might be trying to crush forward into this fourth base. And if he can take out this army, he's definitely going to be in a position to. Now, over here at the third, there actually isn't nearly as much defense. So he's going to start working down these rocks with his roaches. A few roaches moving forward to try and flank. And all the roaches zooming up, trying to see if they can get a lot of damage done. No blinks. Okay, there's the blink micro coming in right now. And it looks like he is going to be forced away. The photon overcharge went down on the expansion. And these roaches do get pushed back. Both players dropping a lot in resources right now, but Louder has quite a bit of a bank to keep warping in units right now. He doesn't have any high-tech units, though. All he has is a bunch of Blink Stalkers. He has no... I don't see any Templars. Let's see. Yeah, there's no Templars on the field. It's pretty much just a bunch of Blink Stalkers versus Roaches, which really isn't the situation you particularly want to be in. And it looks like a good run-by up here out of focus went up into the main. And now these Lings are trying to get some damage done, but there's a lot of warp-ins there on the backside. Roaches being caught out in the middle here, just kind of rallying awkwardly across the map. Focus starting to kind of fall apart. A lot of roaches being caught out in the middle for nothing, and Louder in a great position right now. More roaches being produced. That +3 attack just is so much damage on these stalkers. Look at that, 17 versus armored. And this expansion is going to fall very quickly. In the meantime, he's picking up his 5th base behind this. While the, I guess, 5th falls there for focus. He has a base in the bottom left. Roaches moving up, trying to see if they can defend here. Quite a few infestors are here. There should be a lot of fungal power available. which if we can fungal him near these 3 spines, can deal a lot of damage with that actually. But it's really just a matter of wow, 4 robos going down behind this. Oh my goodness. That is a lot of robos. And I wonder if he's just going to start fully cranking out a massive amount of immortals. And he's going to throw away some of his Phoenix here to try and pick off all those infestors, which he gets a lot of the infestors down, so that's definitely worth it. I mean, they're not really doing anything else, and 4 immortals at a time being produced behind this. I mean, when you see only roaches, 4 immortals at a time is a pretty good call. +3 is in the works here for our Zerg player, though. He's at 2-1 right now. In the meantime, the Protoss player is at 3-1, so he's definitely up a full upgrade. So, in a good position there. But it's about to be 2-2, kind of equalizing upgrades a little bit. And then, Zealot being taken out there over at his 5th. That same Zealot had been wandering forever. Finally goes down. 4 cannons and a pylon over here at the 4th base. I really like the defense that it keeps putting down in all of these bases. And yes, the hero overlord has passed. Up there in the north. Poor little guy. He was living a good life. And we have Phoenixes over here just kind of keeping an eye between the 4th and 5th bases here out of focus. They're going to move in and try and pick off a bunch of workers. They end up getting a free Hydralisk though. It's always something that you like. They might get another Hydralisk. Fungal going down though, and it looks like the rest of these Phoenixes are going to be cleaned up. One more shot. Oh, no, it actually gets away. Excuse me. The Protoss force, now bolstered by 4 Immortals and 2 High Templar, are moving across the field here. It looks like Colossus are going to be coming up behind this pretty soon. And this 5th base just doesn't look like it stands a chance of staying up. In the meantime, Louder taking his 6th base up here in the north. The entire north side of the map is being taken over here by our Protoss player. And he has quite a large bank, 1,000 minerals and gas pretty much over our Zerg player. And the Zerg is moving in. Big storms going down on his entire army. And it doesn't. Feedback's going down before more fungals can actually go out. A fungal going out. Immortal's kind of trapped here at the front. That could be good for the Zerg, but it just doesn't look like he's going to be able to push through it. Getting forced back here across the map. Nearly instant remax here coming out of our Zerg player with 34 roaches and 28 links coming out. But the 4 Colossus that have been in production during this fight are about to join the ranks here across the field. Links coming out, and if he can get a good surround and take out kind of, you know, like the tankiness of this army, it could be really great. The Lings aren't able to push into the front at all, though. Roach is trying to get a surround on all of these units, and it looks like he should be able to chase down this army and push it back across the map. For the first time, the Zerg player looks like he's kind of taking a little bit of a good position in this game. However, he is only on 4 bases. His bank is entirely depleted. The Protoss player has remaxed with an even stronger army. There's going to be 6 Colossus somewhere here out on the field. There's 2 of them. Where are the other 2? They're just finishing up? Okay, yeah, they were just finishing up. And now the Zerg player kind of piecemeal pushing in here. You got to be really careful. An aggressive blink going forward. That might have been a little bit of a misstep as the rest of the roaches are coming up here. Only 2 of the Colossus are over here, so if those get focused down, this could still go in the Zerg player's favor. But microing that Overlord or that Colossus back, and now the 2 Colossus. I keep trying to say Overlord coming in here at the back. Zerg player getting a pretty good exchange cost-wise, but he just doesn't have enough to remax behind this, and the roaches dancing awkwardly, trying to get to those 2 Colossus, but being blocked by the Stalker bodyguards. It's looking like a pretty unwinnable situation here for our Zerg player. We'll have to see. Right now it's 2 Colossus, 2 High Templar, and a bunch of Stalkers versus just a few roaches and a few spine crawlers, which is not a situation you want to be in as a Zerg player. And it looks like he may be forced to tap out here in just a second, as the last of his defenses here are falling at his 3rd base. His 4th is up and running. His 5th is not quite up. And looks like an Overlord being killed by a Phoenix. Just everything falling down here for Team Elite's focus. This Chronic Facture looks like it's about to take game number 3. It's really trying to make it work, but there's the well played, and game number 3 does go to Chronic Facture. Let's just see. Can Team Elite pull it back in game number 4? It's coming up here in just a second. Stay tuned.